So you're looking to hire a video editor for your marketing team. You don't want to hire from the US because it's expensive. You've tried hiring from sites like Fiverr and Upwork, but they suck. I've placed dozens of editors to my clients, including MrBeast's producer, Fortune 500 agencies, and 7-figure marketing teams. I've refined this hiring process specifically for video editors hundreds of times so you can get it right the first time around. I'm going to cut through the bullshit and teach you exactly how to hire a great video editor for your business. Step 1, you need to post a job post on LinkedIn. If you're looking for someone remote that's full-time 40 hours per week, then you need to use LinkedIn. You can use Fiverr and Upwork for freelancers. But on LinkedIn, put location to either Manila, Philippines or Jakarta, Indonesia, the two best regions for video editors in my experience. And very cheap as well. You can also boost the job post by $50 if you feel like after 2 days, it hasn't had enough applications. With $50, you're gonna get 200 to 300 applicants easily. Here's a job description structure example that you can use. The About Us section, so you can write an intro to your company, the key responsibilities so that you can outline what the editor will be doing and what will they be responsible for. The requirements, what type of software do you want them to master? What type of skills do you want them to know? The benefits, you need to explain the bonuses, the health benefits, and any paid time off that you're offering to your candidates. The salary, I do recommend putting the salary range on there. For these two regions, I actually recommend either between $800 to $2,000 depending on the level of seniority. And number 6 is any additional details such as when you want them to start. So that's step 1. Step 2 is sourcing the CVs and portfolio. Just pick the CVs with the best experience. Maybe they've worked in another international agency before or worked in corporate before, and the best portfolio that fits your requirements and what you're gonna give them on a day-to-day basis. Here are some red flags to look out for when doing this sorting process. Number 1, you don't want to be hiring job hoppers, the people that move from job to job every 3-6 months. Number 2, you want to be looking at portfolios that are relevant to your industry. So if you don't see anything that comes even close to what you're doing in your company, then disregard that candidate. Number 3, you want to look out for portfolios that isn't fitted to a certain platform. So for example, if you're looking for a YouTube video editor and this editor only has portfolios for shorts, then he's not the one you're looking for. And number 5, you actually want to see how aesthetic the portfolio is presented, because the great ones know that a portfolio is not only the pieces they put inside of it, but also the framing on how they present it. So be on the lookout for those that only use a Google Drive, or they don't really present it in a way that it's nice to look at and it makes you curious to find out more. Step number 3 is giving them a skill test. Have them do sample videos for what you're actually going to have them do on a day-to-day basis. So these sample videos, also known as skill tests, I recommend doing it in 2 ways. 1, a speed test, where you're going to give them a task where they have to complete in 1 to 3 hours, depending on the level of complexity of how you want it, where they have to screen record themselves doing it from 0 to finish within the set deadline. This will show you how they can perform under pressure and how good of a work can they actually make given limited time. And number 2 is the quality test. You'll give them 24 to 48 hours to create a sample video in which the style is a bit more complicated. And so you can see, given enough time, how good of a video can they actually make. And if you're thinking who's gonna do this if it's not paid, then you've not hired remote before. Because the candidates that will actually go above, far and beyond for you once hired, they will do this seriously even in the hiring process, and even if it's not paid. Trust me. Step number 4 is to give Test Gorilla assessments. What is Test Gorilla? Test Gorilla is a platform where you can give your candidates pre-made tests on certain topics that you want them to be measured on. So for example, a video editor should be measured on their level of English, their video content marketing knowledge, their problem solving skills, etc., etc. So Test Gorilla has these pre-made tests of multiple choice questions where you can compare the knowledge of all your candidates and pit them to one another. I've used Test Gorilla all the time, and it's a very great indicator on how an editor will do once they join your company. The tests that I recommend you give your candidates are English C1, video content creator, attention to detail visual, problem solving, and time management. All of these are pre-made. All you need to do is create a test on Test Gorilla using these 5 subjects and then send the link to the candidates. You can assess results by comparing it to other candidates, or an average score of 65% across the board, plus a minimum of 60% for each individual test is usually a good indicator that candidate is a quality candidate. Step number 5 is the interview. This is really important to understand your candidate's personality and prospect of them being a good fit to your company. Number 1, you gotta ask the HR questions. Why are they interested in joining your company? Show me an example where you worked in a team. Show me an example where you have led a team. Tell me about your time management method. How do you prioritize tasks? How do you feel about accepting feedback from clients or from managers? and these type of HR questions that will unearth their personality. It's better to go deep into 1 or 2 or 3 questions instead of scattering questions and asking just a bunch of different questions. So listen to their answer and go deep into why they're saying what they're saying. Number 2 are the technical questions. So number 1, you want to ask how long have they been using each individual app that they've listed on their CV that they can use? Which app do they master the most? Which app do they usually use every day? And also the most important thing is have them walk through their portfolio and have them explain the whole process on how they completed that work from zero to finish, so that you can see whether they were actually involved in the creation of that work from zero to finish and not just part of a team. Next are the logistics questions. So be wary of their laptop specifications, their internet speed, their infrastructure, where they usually work from, just to make sure, they're working remote, they can actually be contacted and they can actually get the work done. It's one thing to be skillful, it's another thing if you don't have a laptop to support whatever it is you want them to do. And the final step number 6, is onboarding them. This is very important because a good onboarding experience is proven to reduce employee churn by 70% or more. So number 1, you need to welcome them either through a pre-recorded video, or you get on a meeting with them, or you do a group welcome. And then you need to explain all the SOPs and the project management flow inside your company to make sure they understand where they can find the tasks, where they can find their deadline, who they should report to, where should they submit their tasks, etc, etc. After teaching them the SOPs and the project management tools, you also need to teach them how to do marketing, because a great video editor also understands the principles of marketing. So be sure they understand what principles of marketing you usually apply in your marketing team, and make sure they understand the basics of what the whole department is trying to do. The next step is to give them reference folders on what the usual styles your company wants them to make. And then at the end of all of it, once you've done the SOPs, project management, teaching the basics of marketing, and also the reference folders, you want to hold another meeting with them so that they can ask you questions on topics that they don't quite fully understand. Once that's done, it's not all up and running just yet. Give them trial periods of a week to start. So if you expect them to complete 3 short form videos a day, in the trial week, just give them 1 or 2, and be very critical about the results in the first week, so that they understand what you like and what you don't like, and they can get fully up to speed on the second week. And that way, they won't feel overwhelmed, they'll actually feel accepted, and they'll actually feel like they're gonna excel at your company, because you take things slow and then you slowly build it up. And don't forget to make them feel welcomed in your company as well. Don't make your remote employees feel like they're second-class citizens to your in-office team. Never works out. And there it is, how to hire a video editor based on my experience placing high quality editors to big businesses. Hopefully you got all the information needed to get your video editor hire right, even if it's your first time. But if you're one of those who don't want to spend the hours it takes to actually do the hiring process, get it wrong, fire the employee, and having to search again, then I might have something for you. On the link in the description below, you can click the first link, and then it will take you to a page where I explain exactly how I help my clients like MrBeast's producer, 7-figure marketing teams, big marketing agencies get editors without them having to lift a single finger. And I've built post-production teams worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you're interested, it's the first link in the description. Click on there and I'll see you on the other side.